What up, motherfuckers? It's the Hater, and I'm back up in this bitch. You know what I'm saying? I have so many videos that I've recorded during the last few days, and for some reason, I just haven't uploaded them. I can only attribute it to laziness. It's not even like a lack of time. I'm just a lazy pig now for some reason. But guess what, motherfuckers? It all changes today. You know what I'm saying? I don't just mean with my videos, but with my general demeanor, all right? In one of my videos that I'm going to upload today, I'm going to talk about the soon-to-come Hater Reboot 2. You know what I'm saying? My 1-year anniversary, year 2, season 2, if you will, of the Hater. It'll be better and bigger than season 1. Best believe you me, motherfuckers. Best believe. All right. Now, if I can dodge these cars that are coming my way, I'm going to continue this video. How's this guy doing? I have a green light. So does he, I guess. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, yeah, I'm out starting my day, getting my morning coffee up in this bitch, you know? And I was thinking about Retribution. That's right, motherfuckers. Retribution, everyone's favorite wrestling stable, all right? Now, last night, on Monday Night Raw, you know what I mean? Retribution was revealed to be led by, that's right, none other than the greatest wrestler of all time, Mustafa Ali, who I'm sure by next week will not be Mustafa Ali, but will be like Krypton or some other goofy ass name. Now, a lot of people already, you know what I'm saying? Because when I Googled this, just to make sure that my eyes weren't deceiving me, a lot of people were saying that like, oh, what a great choice he is. Even one person in one of these like 411, these bullshit magazines, one of them said, what a surprisingly good choice, right? The implications being that like WWE was sure to fuck this up, but they didn't, motherfuckers. They saved the day with Mustafa Ali. Now, before I continue to shit on this, I have to say a couple of things. Motherfuck, speeding at like 5:30 in the morning. What's up with that? Anyways, I gotta say, some of these things that people are saying are, of course, over the top. But I will say that it was a pretty good moment. I'm not gonna lie. Now, was it unexpected? Yes, of course it was unexpected. You know what I'm saying? In the sense that, like, it was Mustafa Ali. I mean, it could have been Ricochet, it could have been anybody, really. There was really no precedent set by the stable to determine the kind of wrestler that would be the leader, if there was one, you know? For a while, it looked like Dominik Dijakovic was the leader, you know? But basically what happened for all of you that didn't watch was, what's it called? Hurt Business, right? They continued their little feud. This is why it was good, right? Because the Hurt Business has two feuds that are kind of going on at the same time. One feud is with like Apollo Crews and friends, which includes Mustafa Ali, and the other feud is with Retribution because they declared that they're gonna like put them in their place or whatever the fuck they said, you know? So it was a good way to pull these two things together, you know what I mean? That was kind of cool, I'm not gonna lie. And like there's positives and negatives to it, but that was kind of a cool little twist. You know, so what happened was the match, it was MVP versus Mustafa Ali with Shelton Benjamin and Bobby Lashley on the outside. So the match is a bunch of horse shit, you know, it's an Ali match, so you can't expect much of it, right? And then what happens is, the three of them are about to beat the shit out of Mustafa, right? Retribution comes, Mustafa joins the Hurt Business momentarily to kind of fight, you know, the greater threat, the greater enemy, right? Retribution comes out, Dijakovic is a big guy. I mean, he was a little lanky, but the mask and all that shit makes him look more intimidating than he is. Dio Madden, whatever the fuck his name is, you know? This guy, he looks great. You know, he looks great for his role. He looks like fucking Predator. You know what I'm saying? He's got the fucking, like, braids all the way down to, like, his waist. It's fucking badass. You know what I'm saying? Now, badass in the context of Retribution. I mean, I'm not saying this guy's the next Stone Cold. But anyways, the match continues. I mean, the segment continues, right? Ali just rolls to the outside, and MVP's like, yeah, like, go get him, Ali. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? He's Ali. He's, like, 100 pounds, you know? So anyways, Ali, like, goes to the face of, like, Dio Madden and, fucking Dijakovic. Then he turns around and he has this like quote unquote evil look on his face and he's like, get him, right? And then Retribution beats the shit out of the Hurt Business, you know, they're being led by Ali. What a revelation. Now, it was cool because it's nice to see someone like Ali right before the draft getting pushed, right? Like, it's good to see someone fresh. That's always good, motherfuckers. That's what I said about Jinder Mahal. That's what I've been saying about a lot of people recently. But let's be real, right? Let's be real. If you guys remember, before Retribution even started, like in 2 months ago now, what the fuck? I don't know. But in 2 months ago or so, in one of my videos, I said, Retribution's coming out, and this thing has jobber written all over it. And I'm like, And I said, they need to have someone who's currently a wrestler in the main roster to be their leader, right? And I said that it would hinge on that. It would hinge on who the leader is. If the leader is, I don't know, Drew McIntyre, let's say, right? A main eventer type guy, then it has some potential because they're surrounding a champion type guy, right? But if it's going to be like King Corbin and King Corbin's court of Dolph Ziggler and Bobby Roode, that's not really that good. You know what I'm saying? That has jobber written all over it. And now that it was revealed to be Mustafa Ali, the question becomes, what the fuck is going on? Like, who the fuck would give a shit about Mustafa Ali? Like, he can't lead anything. He's been a follower his entire career. But anyways, it's neither here nor there. I can't reconcile that with people deserving a chance. He deserves a chance. Why the fuck not? Give everyone a chance. Now, here's the problem, right? The problem is that all these jabrones, all these internet jobbers have been saying, wow, what a great move this is to have Ali be the guy, right? Now, again, I can think of worse wrestlers to give this role to, right? But they're tying dots that don't really exist. You know what I'm saying? So, for example, dot one, right? Like, one of the articles was like, oh, Mustafa Ali, yeah, he was given the hacker gimmick, right? And that didn't pan out to anything. No, he wasn't, motherfuckers. Nobody established that except for the internet nerds. That's not canon, right? No one in WWE acknowledged that the hacker gimmick is supposed to be Mustafa Ali. So connecting the hacker gimmick to this is just conjecture, right? It's ridiculous. It makes absolutely no sense. You know, first of all, there's nothing hackerish about this, right? He's not a hacker, right? He's supposed to be the leader of these like disgruntled motherfucks. So for whatever reason, right? Now, the fact that he was established as leader is a bit problematic because out of everyone in this group, he doesn't have the highest upside. You know what I'm saying? Dijakovic, Dio Madden, these guys, Shane Thorne, if he wasn't like 37 or whatever the fuck he is, these guys will have a much better upside than Mustafa Ali. They all have a greater potential to be stars than Mustafa Ali. But that's neither here nor there. The problem, again, remains with the connection of dots, right? With the idea that for some reason it makes sense for Mustafa Ali to be the leader, right? And a lot of people keep pointing to the fact that Mustafa Ali apparently is good at promos. I don't think I've ever heard this jobber, like, you know, pull out a promo out of his ass ever. You know what I'm saying? I can't think of a promo that he's ever cut. But it is what it is, right? They're saying that he's underrated in promos and in the ring. The ring doesn't matter. The fact that he's like a high flyer does not lend itself to being the leader of a faction. That's weird. No, nobody wants to see that. You know, the leader of a faction needs to be like a brute, needs to be a strong guy, needs to be someone, or at least someone that's been presented historically as cerebral. Mustafa Ali has never been presented like that. He's never been presented as being a smart guy. He's never been presented as being anything other than a jobber or like whatever, the heart and soul of 205 Live, whatever the fuck that garbage was, right? He's a jobber. Like, he shouldn't be leading anything. But for some reason, to a lot of these internet nerds, right, this makes perfect sense. Mustafa Ali is the leader of Retribution. Makes perfect sense. As far as I'm concerned, you know, I hope he does well with it. You know, I wish every wrestler and every person in the world basically well in their careers and in their lives. But let's be real. The fact that he's revealed as the leader puts this into a jobber faction, right? Now, what I see happening here, first of all, forget about that rumor that the main event of Survivor Series is going to be Retribution versus a team. That's ridiculous. If that's the case, that's fucking retarded. Nobody wants to see Mustafa Ali main event anything. But that's neither here nor there. We're too far away from Survivor Series, so we'll see, motherfuckers. But I could see at Survivor Series something like Retribution, Ali, and like at least 3, maybe 4 guys, right? Versus like, I don't know, Hurt Business and like Apollo and Ricochet or something. You know what I mean? Like something like that, right? Like Hurt Business minus like Shelton Benjamin. You know what I mean? Like just seeing some sort of like these two teams that don't like each other have to band together to take care of Retribution. They will, of course, if that happens, Retribution is going to win. So who the fuck cares? Now, there is a potential here that I thought of randomly. A long, long time ago, Mustafa Ali was pretty much robbed by Brock Lesnar of stealing, not stealing, well, he was robbed, he was screwed, if you will, by Lesnar out of the Money in the Bank. Now, if any of you were thinking that I'm thinking we should do Brock Lesnar coming back with Retribution, of course not. If that ever were to happen, Brock Lesnar should bury that entire faction immediately. But that's Mustafa Ali's like connection to the mantra of Retribution, right? Retribution is all about being denied opportunities, right? And the Mustafa Ali angle, that was a real denial of an opportunity. You know, he had it, it was within his grasp, and then Lesnar came, right? And he can spin that and be like, yo, I was right there. I was going to be Money in the Bank. I was going to be WWE champion. But then, like, Vince's boy, you know, came out and screwed me, right? Complete horse shit. You know, so that's why I'm leading Retribution. That's why I'm fed up, basically, right? So there's a potential for that. Now, will they go that route? I feel like they will. I feel like they're going to at least mention it. They're going to acknowledge, because how else do you explain it, you know? And then at the end of the segment, Mustafa Ali did this stupid-ass taunt that he does, where he holds his hand up, you know, usually has a little light thing on his hand, right? And he closed his fist, and the lights went out, I think, right? So there you go. I mean, you know, like he just, like Dio Madden and Dijakovic just tower over this jobber, you know. I think he's probably much smaller than Shane Thorne too, you know. So I don't really see where this is going. I think by putting Mustafa Ali as the leader, this not invalidates the group, but it's like this group will be like at most at the level of right to censor. You know what I'm saying? Like none of these guys is going to become WWE champion anytime soon, unless they make the critical error of pushing Mustafa Ali into like a championship, which I don't see at all. You know what I'm saying? So there you go, right? There you go. Maybe he can be like Intercontinental champion or something. That could be kind of interesting and fun. Maybe 24/7 title. You know what I'm saying? Maybe he can go back to being the heart and soul of 205 Live. I don't know where this is going to go, right? This has horseshit written all over it now, as far as I'm concerned. But like I said, there are moments and there are situations where this can be somewhat salvaged, right? Who knows? You know, maybe those promos that I've missed Ali cut, maybe they are great promos. Maybe Ali really is the next big thing. You know, I don't know. I don't watch 205 Live. I ain't got time for that shit. So that's what I'm saying, right? It's possible. But the facts are what the facts are. Mustafa Ali was going to be given a gimmick. They scrapped it. I guess they scrapped it in favor of this. I don't know how long-term this was. You know, I highly doubt it was that long-term. You know, probably what happened was they probably had like a better idea that didn't pan out. You know, maybe they were like, oh, maybe CM Punk can return. And then they're like, oh yeah, he didn't want to come back. So I guess it's going to have to be Ali. You know what I mean? That's kind of like more realistic than this being planned all along as like a way to push Ali, you know? And also the reveal was pretty shitty. You know, so like it leads me to believe that it's not like this long-term plan. It's kind of a shitty reveal. You know, like it would have been better, for example, if Retribution, which has been around for like 2.5 months, if in these 2.5 months they actually accomplished something. You know, if they actually won a match or did something great instead of attacking Shelton Benjamin. Like who the fuck cares? You know what I'm saying? Like if they had attacked, I don't know, Drew McIntyre, right? And actually done created some chaos, right? And created some kind of situation where people are like, oh, what's going to happen next? You know, like that kind of idea. If they close the show, like, and I mean close the show, like actually close the show, like 10 weeks in a row. Not close the show like there's a match and then they come with chainsaws and cut the ring rope. That's fucking retarded. You know what I'm saying, right? Like if they had been like the Shield, right, where they come, like their debut is like at a pay-per-view, and they attack like who the fuck they attack CM Punk or whoever it was, a Ryback, right? They attack someone that was a big deal at the time, right? And then they subsequently go on and beat teams like involving Cena, Daniel Bryan, Sheamus, Randy Orton, people that are like big names. Then you can make something out of it. But like this, it's like, okay, they've been terrorizing like fucking Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander. So what can I expect from them, right? If they had been booked well for 2.5 months, instead of being booked like a bunch of jobbers, right? Then the reveal of the leader would have some impact. It'd be like, oh shit, who's behind the group that beat the shit out of, I don't know, Roman Reigns, let's say, right? Oh, it was Mustafa Ali. That's weird, right? It would have some sort of gravitas. Now it has nothing. Now it's just like, oh, who's behind this group of jobbers? Oh, it's another jobber. Great, you know, fuck cares. So that's what I'm getting at, motherfuckers. This has, in my opinion, Wyatt family written all over it. Like, just a bunch of people going nowhere, and one guy, whoever it's going to be, that's going to become like a Bray Wyatt at most type, right? Like basically like a loser, a guy that no one really wants to see. That's what I see in the future of this group, right? Speaking of Bray Wyatt, let's talk about him for 1 second, motherfuckers. He's now feuding with Kevin Owens. Bray Wyatt, the fact that he's the Fiend, has been lost completely in the shuffle, right? He's on Raw now after Roman Reigns pretty much kicked him out of SmackDown for being a jobber. He's now on Raw again. And while he's on Raw, he's feuding with Kevin Owens. So he went from terrifying the world champion, right, to brainwashing Alexa Bliss to now feuding with Kevin Owens. Like a role that a few months ago was reserved for Angel Garza. He's now on the same level as Angel Garza. Let's call it like it is. You know, and Kevin Owens isn't afraid of him either. You know, Kevin Owens is like, oh, whatever, the Fiend's here. Like, I'm going to fight him as if he was Bray Wyatt. So who the fuck cares about Bray Wyatt or the Fiend? You know, that shit is overplayed. It's done. You know, there was an over-reliance on the Fiend, and he wasn't booked strong, right? Like, he had like 5-6 matches that matter, and he lost like 3 of them. And this is counting the bullshit one against Cena at WrestleMania, which isn't even a match. You know, this guy should be plowing through people like Kevin Owens. If you want him to be like a world championship caliber wrestler, He should be destroying Kevin Owens in 2 moves. He should be out there just beating the shit out of Kevin Owens and being like, yo, where's my title shot? I'm on Raw, motherfucks. He should be going after Drew McIntyre at minimum, you know? Or maybe go after Retribution, I don't know. But what I'm saying is that there's a lot of shuffling going on right before this draft. Now, what's going to happen in the draft? I don't know, but does it really matter? Does it really matter? There's maybe like aside from Roman Reigns, does it really matter where anyone ends up? Like, is there anyone that's interesting except for Roman Reigns? Drew McIntyre has largely been a flop. His feud with Randy Orton has gone way too long, right? Like, at this point, if Randy Orton wins, it doesn't feel like a serious win, you know, because like Drew McIntyre would probably want a rematch, and it's like, how is he going to get a rematch? You know, you've had like 18 matches. What the fuck's the point, you know? So I would have made it so the leader of Retribution was Keith Lee. Now, I know I've been shitting on Keith Lee for the last few weeks because, quite frankly, he's disappointed me quite a bit. But it would have made sense, right? He has a history with Dijakovic in the sense that they had their rivalry, right? They're kind of cut from the same cloth in the sense that they're these 2 guys that for a long time in NXT were forgotten. Like Keith Lee for like a year and a half, like won nothing. He wasn't even on NXT like TV, right? He's like dating Mia Yim in real life, so that kind of makes a little bit of sense, right? You know, it's like, oh, we're like a group and we're actually friends. You know, saying we're actually friends in real life, and that's kind of our the thing that ties us, right? Then we have Shane Thorne too, because fuck it, why the fuck not, you know? So that's what I'm saying, right? But with Mustafa Ali, it's like, how did he even get in contact with these guys? You know what I'm saying? When he was training at the Performance Center, he was like, hey, Dominic Dijakovic, you're a jobber, you know? It makes no sense from a kayfabe perspective, but it is what it is. I understand that for Ali, this is like obviously the biggest push that he'll ever have as a wrestler. Like, he's never going to have a moment that's greater than this in his career. It's never going to happen, motherfuckers. This guy's never going to be a single star. So, unless there's a small chance, it's very small, but it's there, a chance where he can actually take this and run with it and make something out of it. You know, I don't think this is the best gimmick, if you will, to give someone that you want to make a main eventer. That's why Retribution sucks, because it's like, it's destined for mid-card, you know? It's destined for mid-card. The Shield, you could tell that was destined for main event. You could tell not only because the 3 guys that were in there were Roman Reigns, the guy that clearly was going to be a big deal, and like the 2 number 1 and number 2 guys in the indies at the time, right? But also the way that they were booked. They were booked in very prominent roles, right? They were booked to win a lot of their matches. They were undefeated for so long. They were booked as a trio of equals, right? There's so much going on there, and they had personalities, right? Like I always shit on Dean Ambrose, but like, obviously the highlight of his career was when he was with the Shield, right? He actually had a personality and a gimmick, right? He actually acted crazy. He did things that didn't make any sense. You know, like in the middle of a match, he'd start arguing with his teammates, right? Which was like counterintuitive to the concept of the Shield, right? Which was supposed to be these 3 guys that gel really well together, you know? Roman Reigns was clearly the silent, strong type, and Rollins was the architect there of the Shield. You know, he did all the setup things, basically, right? Like it would be like a Seth Rollins move that would set up the end to the match after like a spear or like a dirty deeds or something, you know? But it would always be like a Seth Rollins like flying knee, like a springboard knee or some bullshit to set up for that, right? Or some sort of hot tag or some sort of that kind of shit, right? They all had their roles, and they were presented as being equal in the sense that if one of them didn't do their job, the team would fail. That was the whole point of the Shield. In this case, it's just like completely interchangeable jabrones. Like, does it matter if it's Dio Madden or if it's Samoa Joe in that role? Does it matter at all? Not at all. You know what I'm saying? Who the fuck cares if it's Dio Madden or Dominic Dijakovic? Like, who the fuck cares? That doesn't make any difference. If it's Mia Yim or like Shotzi Blackheart, who the fuck cares? Like, they don't bring anything to the table. They have no personalities, right? Just an asshole called T-Bar, a jerk-off called Mace, and a douchebag called whatever the fuck, Slapjack, whatever. You know, it's just a bunch of jobbers. So that's kind of the problem, right? This thing has mid-card written all over it. This is not a serious group. You know, it's not a serious group where like, this guy's going to become that guy's going to become that. At most, it's going to be like a legacy level affair, except with no Randy Orton. Remember Legacy? When after they disbanded at WrestleMania, Cody Rhodes just randomly got like the best looking guy in the world gimmick, and DiBiase got this like trust fund gimmick, like just horseshit things thrown together, you know, nothing that makes sense. So that's what's going to happen here. Like when they break up, Dio Madden's probably going to be like, oh, look at this athlete gimmick, you know. Dijakovic is going to be like, wow, what a talented and gifted athlete he is. They're all going to get that same gimmick. Shane Thorne, oh, he's been so underutilized. Oh, he made his rounds in Australia. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be a bunch of horseshit. No one's going to care. You know, they're all going to be jobbers. They're all going to be on like superstars in like 2 years anyways. So what's the point? How can I be invested in this? You know, that's what I got to say about that motherfucks. Why the fuck? I don't even know how old Dio Madden is or Dijakovic is, right? But let's be real, right? You have better superstars on Monday Night Raw and on SmackDown that are being underutilized than these jabrones, right? You have, like I've always been saying, Jinder Mahal, motherfucks. You have the number one most underutilized guy maybe ever, right? Lashley. And you have Cesaro. You have people like that. They're like, where the fuck is this Cesaro getting a push? But Deal Madness? Are you insane? You know, Mustafa Ali is more deserving of a push than Cesaro or than Lashley? What the fuck is this shit? This is fucking Lashley should go out there and beat the entire, like, Retribution by himself. That's what should happen. You know? So at least if you had Keith Lee, you have this giant guy who's been established to an extent where you can kind of hang your hat and be like, well, at least they have Keith Lee. Well, at least they have someone that might become a star one day, or like not like a real star, but like I don't know, like a Daniel Bryan star, like that level. He might become that. He might become the next Dean Ambrose, you know. But he's not gonna become the next John Cena, but he might become the next Dean Ambrose, right? But does anyone in Retribution have that potential? Anyone at all, man or woman? None of them. None of them have any sort of potential like that. So that's kind of the problem with that bullshit stable. And the only chance that they had was if their leader was someone who was a big deal. Like, imagine if this shit happened in the Attitude Era, right? And the leader was Triple H, right? You get evolution when that happens. Now, again, you also need Randy Orton and Batista and Ric Flair, but you understand what I'm saying. There's rumors that Roman Reigns might have his own stable. Hopefully it doesn't involve the Usos. But whoever is involved as the other singles guy in that stable could get a huge rub from it. You know, there's actually potential because you're aligned with Roman Reigns. You're aligned with the number one guy. And that's kind of the thing. Luke Harper got kind of a rub, right? Eric Rowan a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like, these people got several pushes because they were aligned with Bray Wyatt, who was supposed to be a big deal. Now, it turned out he sucked ass, but it doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? They got a rub. In this case, being aligned with Mustafa Ali, you have a chance of becoming the next Ricochet. Nobody wants to be the next Ricochet. Not even Ricochet wants to be the next Ricochet, motherfucks. You know what I'm saying? That's what I got to say about that. Stay tuned for more videos up in this motherfucker.